I call to order this regular meeting of the Board of Public Works this Tuesday, September 24th of 2024. First up on our agenda, we have award of bids for Trades District sculpture site preparation.
Hello, Jeremy with engineering. This project entails a preparation of a site for a sculpture, which is scheduled for installation at a later date. And I'm not sure if that date's actually been determined. It was going to be October, but I believe it got pushed. The contractor shall be responsible for the removal of trees and tree grates, remove and reinstall brick pavers, and installation of reinforcement concrete foundation. And this sculpture is going over by the trades. Bids were public open and read aloud on September 23rd, 2024, 12 p.m. at the Board of Public Works work session. Milestone Contracting was the lowest responsive and reasonable bidder. There was 4 bids total. Wise Building Solutions at $74,182. Weddle Brothers at $68,889.82. E&B Paving for $54,500 and Milestone for $53,800. Engineering recommends awarding the contract to Milestone Contracting.
Thank you. Questions from the board on this item?
Just to confirm, the agenda says for the Trades District sculpture site, the project on the staff report is Morningside Drive, which I assume is not correct.
Yeah, Jeremy, or Zach mentioned that he had a typo on the staff report that he forgot to take out Morningside.
Great.
This is
Just
for
confirming.
Trades District. Yep.
Yeah, it's
For the
the
public.
Trades
Okay.
District, sorry.
Thank you.
All right, any public comments on this item?
No.
Seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the Milestone contract for the Trades District sculpture site preparation.
Second.
All right, I will call the roll. Carone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox-Deckard, aye. Motion passes. Next up is messages from board members. Do we have any messages from the board this evening? Next is petitions and remonstrances. If anyone would like to make a public comment about something that is not on the agenda this evening, now is the opportunity to do so. If you are on Zoom, you can use the raised hand function or the chat function to let us know that you'd like to make a comment. If you're in person, you can approach the microphone.
No public comment for items not on the agenda.
All right, seeing none. Next is the consent agenda. Under the consent agenda this evening is the approval of minutes for August 27th, 2024, approval of minutes for September 10th of 2024, request to waive a right-of-way 2024-08-0999 permit fees for the Park Ridge East Neighborhood Association, Resolution 2024-060, renewal of mobile vendor Big D's Barbecue, Resolution 2024-066, new mobile vendor, The Crepe Outdoors, and approval of payroll. Do we have any items that need to be removed from the consent agenda this evening? Do we have any public comments on anything within the consent agenda this evening? All right, seeing none, is there a motion on the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda for tonight's meeting of September 24th, 2024.
Second.
All right, I will call the roll. Carone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox-Deckard, aye. Motion passes. Next is new business. First under new business is Resolution 2024-065, Shared Micro-Mobility Directives for Bird and Lime.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Jackson, the Transportation Demand Manager in the ESD department. Last year, this board licensed VO, Bird, and Lime provide e-scooter and e-bike services, sit-down scooter as well. VO did not finish their license year. They did not redeploy their vehicles and did not apply or submit an application for this new license term. Lime did submit an application, but they did not meet the city's requirements, initially specifically on the one-time license fee and our indemnification requirements. Bird has submitted an application that has met all those requirements and our updated one-time license fee requirement and per-trip license fee requirements. So staff's recommending that we approve a license to Bird and reject Lime's application. I got an email yesterday from Lee Aaron Foley with Lime accepting our determination, and he wished us the best and thanked us for allowing them to operate in the city in the past.
Thank you for the update. Questions from the board?
So question about the resolution itself, looking at page 91 in the packet. Am I missing something? I don't actually see the name Bird here. Is this, am I not looking in the right location? Or does the resolution not specifically call out Bird?
We were working on an audio issue. Can you state your question again, James?
Page 91, the resolution, the shared micromobility directives, excuse me. I don't actually see a reference to Bird in here at all. Is that on purpose or?
Yeah, it looks like the resolution is an update to our requirements or expectations. It includes the update to the fees and maybe some other updates.
No, that's correct. You'll actually sign, or the signatory will be on that Bird's application accepting it.
So basically, we are authorizing an updated resolution, and then we would be authorizing a contract with Bird.
Yes.
A license specifically,
The
not
license.
a contract.
Okay,
Arguably the same thing.
License, not the contract.
okay.
So as we
So-
will vote on the resolution, do we have a separate call on the?
So the staff recommendation and the resolution would be to approve Bird's license, reject Lime's incomplete application, and adopt Resolution 2024-65.
Should we do that as 3 different motions?
I don't think so. I think it's just one inclusive motion.
Okay.
And I'll note just a couple other things. We will have some members of the public that wanted to give some comment. We received one public comment via email. I believe we've shared that with the board, but that was from Deborah Meyerson. Basically, she was disappointed that Lime has not opted to submit the renewal application, and that this would only leave one micromobility provider in the city, so she was hoping to have others. She's a user of the Lime services. I know Jeff's reached out to her, had some discussion, but did want to make sure that was noted in the public record. She understood that, I'll just read this quote unquote, "While I understand that some may view Lime's decision not to meet the city's licensing requirement as a business choice, micromobility serves as a broader purpose beyond company interests. It's about reducing Bloomington's dependence on cars, alleviating congestion, improving air quality, and offering residents and visitors more transportation choices, especially for short trips." So she thinks that is not, just moving to one provider is not positive overall. So just we'll make sure to note that in the public record in the minutes. And then I don't know if you wanted to open it up, if you had more questions or wanted to open it up to public comment for those on Zoom.
I think just reiterating, this was a question I asked yesterday in the work session, but for the purposes of the regular meeting, I had asked if we had any outstanding issues with Bird, anything that had been unresolved, or any problems that we were looking to resolve ahead of a new renewal of a license.
No outstanding issues. They've embraced all of the requirements the city has for issuing the license. They've been operating positively in the last year, providing services, new generation vehicles. And I mentioned yesterday that they had filed for bankruptcy protection in the fourth quarter of 2023. I talked to the city attorney about that, and he said he had been tracking that and that they have reformed and are on fine standing. So they've been very responsive. It's clear to me the other 2 operators have decided that with 3 operators, the business model didn't work for them, and Bird has decided to wait it out and have met all the requirements the city has provided to them.
And I would just mention that they've paid up on all fines, I believe, through August, so any fines that were issued in September haven't gone out yet, but been working on our end as well from that perspective.
Any other questions from the board? All right, we will open it up to public comment. If you are on Zoom and would like to make a public comment, if you'll either use the raised hand function or the chat function to let us know.
All right, we have Mr. Charles Livingston, and we will provide some slides on the monitor as well, but go ahead, Mr. Livingston.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we sure can.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name's Chuck Livingston, retired faculty member at IU. Would you leave it on the first slide for 1 minute, please? Thank you. Most days now I take a walk from my home in Elm Heights to maybe the public library or Westside Blooming Foods. Maybe I head south to Kroger's or Hopscotch and then across Bryant Park back home. I've collected some of the photographs that I took during the months of June and July. These are some of the quietest months for scooter operations. I did not include any photographs. Well, I tried to eliminate any photographs I recognize as being on campus. So now I'd like to go through these. We can do them pretty quickly. The first is downtown Madison Street. The second is the corner of Dunkirk and Kirkwood and Dunn. Continue on. This is across the street from the police station where there are probably 3 parking enforcement cars parked, and it just sits there. This is Henderson Street. I don't know where this is. Notice how many of them are right next to handicap ramps. Stop on this one for a second. This is interesting. This is at the corner of 2nd Street and Henderson. This is brand new handicap ramp that was installed as part of the project building the path along along Henderson. Within a year, it has filled in with gravel. But I took the photograph for the scooter. Continue on.
Mr. Livingston, your time will be limited to 3 minutes. Do you want to go through picture by picture or just offer your comments?
Continue. Bus station. Stop. This is the same corner a few days later. The scooter stayed there for at least 2 days. Continue.
Mr. Livingston, do you have further comments?
Just a sentence or two.
Okay, if you want to go ahead with those, then we'll stay within our time limit.
Sure. For me, I'm lucky. These are just minor inconveniences for me. For my friends who use wheelchairs, Parkinson's, have visually impaired, these are impossible hurdles. The city's policy on these is if somebody in, let's say, a wheelchair meets them, they can file a U report, and within 2 hours, somebody will come and clear the path for them. I guess I get 3 minutes. So if you again approve the license, a year from now, I will be back, just as I've been every year for the past 6 years, showing you blocked sidewalks. This is a decision that the council made, the administration made, and that the sidewalks continue to be blocked like that is a decision that you get to make also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else
All right.
with public comment? Okay. We have no other public comments on Zoom. I will just add, Mr. Livingston's still on the meeting, but he and I did have a good, productive conversation this afternoon as well. I know he's very passionate about keeping these sidewalks from being blocked. We're making good progress with that overall. We do have parking and enforcement staff out there issuing fines each month, working with the vendors. He did state this was in June and July during some of the quieter times. I can tell you we've been, I did a scan today just in the regular course of my business, and we had one scooter out of place on Kirkwood this afternoon. The corrals had the scooters where they belong. I think the scooters have had a positive impact. The pictures where you saw that the bikes were kind of blocking the sidewalk right outside of Greetings and such, we've not been seeing that, and that's because of discussions with the providers to not overwhelm those areas. So I think we're having good progress. I do also think that the one provider will be a very good thing in terms of making sure we're getting good compliance with the licensee. I've struggled with scooters since they've come to the city as well, but overall they are a good last mile resource and something that the community does value, even though it does have some impacts at times with the public rights of way. We're going to do everything we can to continue to keep those free and clear, and just we are going to recommend approval of the one license this evening.
Thank you. Since the city has begun stronger enforcement, both on the fine side and on the relocation of, violating scooters side, are you seeing more compliance among the scooter companies? Like, are they more interested in policing the violations?
I think that's a fair statement, and I know when we inform them, they're being responsive, especially when they get a direct contact. But yeah, and over the course of 3 years, we've issued 3,000 citations. So, we're seeing them, we're issuing the citations, and the other part about that is when we issue the citation, we've fixed, if our staff issues that citation, we've removed it from being a blocked sidewalk or a blocked pathway as well. So it's been a lot of fines over the years, and in the end, we'll continue doing that and work with the single provider to make sure it's providing the best service for the community.
I think we've talked in the past about having Michael Shermis, who staffs the Council on Community Accessibility, involved in kind of the ongoing scooter conversation from the staffing side, so I would just hope that that's continuing.
I've not heard anything from Michael of late.
Great, thank you.
All right, and I'll give one more opportunity if there are any additional members of the public who are interested in making a comment before we close comments. Did we lose audio? Okay. We'll just take a short break here. We'll get that back. So someone else is the host.
Do we have audio?
No, it's on.
Audio should be on. Okay. Not sure why that went off.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I made one more call for any additional members of the public who would like to make comment.
Don't see any, no.
Okay, seeing none. Is there a motion on this item?
I move that we approve Resolution 2024-065 with the shared micromobility directives. That includes approving the license for Bird and rejecting the license for Lime.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. I will call the roll. Crone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox-Deckard, aye. Motion passes. Next up is approval of change orders number 1 and number 2 for the downtown street maintenance project.
Jeremy with engineering again. For the downtown street maintenance project, we've had a couple issues on College already. One is on the southeast corner of 8th and College. There was a downspout from a residence that was hidden underneath the sidewalk that we did not see until they removed the sidewalk. So the first change order was to reroute that into a structure, and that change order was for $1,037.40. And then the second change order was to install an under drain for the full road depth and placement of the blacktop. The road was given away there, and that was at between 7th and 8th on College in front of the Justice Building. We had some testing done by Patriot, and it failed testing, so we put the under drain and put some more aggregate underneath it and went back to blacktop. That change order is an amount of $36,549.47. The original contract was $1,997,075, which brings the new contract price to $2,034,661.87.
Thank you. Questions from the board on this item?
And this is for Milestone also, sorry.
Okay. Any public comments on this item?
Not at this time.
Okay. Seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve change orders numbers 1 and 2 for the downtown street maintenance project.
Second?
All right, I will call the roll. Crone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox-Deckard, aye. Motion passes. Next up is contract with Bounds Flooring for replacement of flooring at Animal Care and Control.
Good evening, Adam Wason on behalf of the Public Works Department and J.D. Boroff with the Facilities Division. This is a contract for flooring at the Animal Care and Control facility. We sought out 4 different vendors. 2 responded. Bounds Flooring came in at $25,594, and Floor Coverings International came in at $26,606. And we're going to recommend replacement of flooring through Bounds Flooring in that amount of $25,594.
Thank
And we
you.
ask for your approval.
Questions from the board? Any public comments on this item?
Not at this time.
Okay, seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the contract with Bounds Flooring for replacement of flooring at Animal Care and Control.
Second?
All right, I will call the roll. Corone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox-Deckard, aye. Motion passes. Next up is staff reports and other business.
Great. Adam Wason again, Public Works Director. And we sent a report out and memo from the Street Division staff about our sidewalk improvement plan that we've been undertaking throughout 2024 for you to review. At our next meeting, we'll be bringing forward a resolution for your support of that document, and we'll go through some more details at that time on the specifics. Otherwise, I just wanted to report out, we're getting into that fall season again. We will not be doing the curbside leaf vacuuming as has been the practice the last few years. So we're updating all of our website information with our new timeframes. We'll start leaf bag distribution here sometime early October, and residents will be able to use the sanitation yard waste program. And then during the month of November, we'll do free leaf pickup as we have in years past through sanitation as well. So more to come on that, and we'll have a news release coming out pretty soon. So that's all I have to report tonight.
Thank you. Next up is approval of claims. Are there any questions from the board on claims? Okay. Is there any public comment on claims?
No.
Okay, seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve claims this evening in the amount of $1,388,400.71.
Second?
All right, I will call the roll. Corone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox Deckard, aye. Motion passes. And seeing that there's nothing else, I will call for adjournment.